through the code day and night, crafting dreams from bits and bytes. Microsoft Magic, it's out of sight. Got a Copilot, watch it take flight, guiding through the code day and night, crafting dreams from bits and bytes. Microsoft Magic, it's out of sight. Got a Copilot, watch it take flight, guiding through the code day and night, crafting dreams from bits and bytes. Microsoft Magic, it's out of sight. Teamwork cowbell, shall we ring it out loud? Teamwork cowbell, making all the proud.
Hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. Good to see you again. Thank you for joining another Cap4Copilot adoption practices. We're here not every Thursday, but most Thursdays, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. So glad you can join us. You're joining us either on LinkedIn or YouTube. And in either case, you can use the chat if you want to talk, ask questions, whatever. Definitely use the chat to tell me hello. Use the chat also to tell me if you're interested in what I used to do called Coffee for Cowbell. I'm considering doing that again, some early morning or late night, sessions for Copilot enthusiasts. Let me know if you're interested in that in the comments. And in terms of today, another thing you can let me know about. So today, our topic is, what if I don't have a license to Copilot? So hopefully you've already seen this, and that's kind of why you're here. You saw it on LinkedIn and maybe on a YouTube post. I need you to let me know if you understood what I was trying to do with this image here. Let me know if you caught the James Bond vibe I was trying to go for. I mean, that's kind of a little running joke for me, is I'm always trying to make these advertisements have some kind of something to them, and I'm not sure if I pulled it off on that one. So that was supposed to be me kind of as a secret agent. Anyway, as long as you're here, it's all good. But I am curious if anybody caught that, so let me know. But yes, that is the topic I thought I'd discuss today. Now, so these are office hours. If you come on and have a question about something, I'm happy to pivot at any time, but I'm always going to come here with something to talk about. I wanted to talk about licensed versus unlicensed users. That's been a topic that has come up with customers, and I've had questions on that. So I thought that might be worth discussing. And I know the audience that might be watching this could be some of you are using Copilot at work. Some may only be using what we would call the consumer version of Copilot, and that wouldn't be a licensed version. Although one could argue you could have the Copilot Pro, and that's kind of like a license. But we'll talk about that. But let me get in my environment here, and I can just kind of show us what the different kinds of experiences you would have depending on how you're licensed. And maybe just as I was just talking there about licensed and unlicensed, probably start let's just start with the consumer. Actually, I'm gonna open up a private browser here. So copilot.microsoft.com will take you to, I know that's kind of big. Actually, let's see, let's make it a little bit smaller. This is more like what it would typically look like. But this is the consumer version, copilot.microsoft.com. You can see it's asking for a sign in, and it's really asking for a not a work sign in, but a personal account like a Hotmail or Outlook.com account in order to sign in here. And so this is not typically what we talk about on this session. We're usually talking about the full license version, which we'll get to in a sec. But this might be your first. This might be where some of you out there have made your first introduction to Copilot. Is the consumer version, and this is full, web-based AI chat. One thing, and it does have slightly different experiences than what you might use at work. One thing this does not have that your work one will have is enterprise data protection, which is a high level of security and compliance around how the Copilot chat gets used. So that's an important piece there. So we're not going to talk about this much, but if you don't have Copilot at work at all, this might be what you're using. I would argue if you are an M365 subscriber at your job, you might be surprised to know that you do have Copilot, even if it's not necessarily rolled out to your org yet. We'll get into that. So I did want to show this, though. In fact, most times when you see this, it might be on your phone. That is a typical place where this gets access. But yes, this is Copilot. This would just be Microsoft Copilot, not Microsoft 365 Copilot. Okay. Hopefully that's not a little too confusing, but copilot.microsoft.com is how you get here. It's looking for a personal account. What we typically talk about, though, is as you can see, the logo with the, oops, I made it a little too big. I was trying to just zoom in there. There we go. Yeah. The logo with the black M365 bar on it. This is what our work accounts, our enterprise accounts would use. Okay. And so on the full other side of, I have a full-blown M365 Copilot license, you will know that. You probably know it already, but you'll certainly know what the telltale sign is, this work web tab. So the full license, among other things, is the version of Copilot that has access to the things you access at work. Your files, certainly, your emails, your Teams chats, things like that. And this tab lets me go back and forth between deciding in this particular query, do I actually want Copilot to respond with work-related stuff, or do I just want it to respond with web-related stuff? Okay. So if you're at work and you have, a license has been purchased for you for M365 Copilot, that would be how you know and if you're seeing this, then you have the premium experience related to Microsoft 365 Copilot, not just being able to see, your work, but also, being able to see things, within Word, Excel, right? Having the Copilot button there for being able to talk to, look at a spreadsheet like this and ask questions of it and things of that nature. So that's the full Copilot experience. Then the other experience would be still at work. So I like to use these personas here. So Ricardo here got the full license, but then when I am demoing this stuff, I'll often switch to another user. In this case, my friend Gene here, he has no Copilot license. He's a part of the same organization as Ricardo, but does not have a license, right? Many organizations will do that, right? They'll roll it out to a certain group of folks, at least initially, And so how do I know that he doesn't have a license? As you can see here, when he goes to Copilot, there's no work web tab. So this is web grounded Copilot chat, plus the use of agents. And I'll talk about a little more about that in a sec. But again, that's the, telltale sign. If I, switch back to Ricardo, there's that M360. Well, the logo is both the same, but there's that work and web chat tab. And the reason why earlier I said, if you're an M365 subscriber, you have Copilot chat. This is included with your subscription. Now, an organization may not realize they have it, may not have enabled the buttons, may not be actively, marketing it in the org, but this is part of being an M365, a Microsoft 365 subscriber, right? If you've got, if you're M365 for email and you're using Office and, all those kind of things, if you've got an account like that, it comes with Microsoft 365 Copilot chat, web grounded chat. Okay. What it doesn't come with, unless you have the license, is work grounded chat, meaning being able to see things within the org, as well as, a few other features as well. Okay. So this is today's episode 18, I think, of this series. In episode 13, I believe, we did talk about the announcement back in January where, we were basically making it easier to be able to get at, Copilot chat, even if you're an unlicensed user. And we also added the ability to use agents on a pay-as-you-go basis as well. And so that's why you're seeing this over on the side. And I think we have talked about agents in a I don't remember which episode, but that would be another thing you have. So you absolutely have M365 Copilot chat. You can do AI chat just like you would do with even other third-party tools, right? Ask it questions, tell it to generate new content, all those things. That is included. And then if your org happens to have, maybe creating or deploying agents in the org, or maybe you're using agent from some software system that your company uses, any of those kind of scenarios, that's going to apply over here. And if you are using like a built agent from your company, like I said, pay as you go, there is a consumption model on the back end on how that kind of gets paid for. So you're not paying anything additional for Gene's experience here in terms of using Copilot chat. Okay. So again, and from a phrasing perspective, this is M365 Copilot chat, but the Ricardo over here as a fully licensed user has M365 Copilot, which includes chat, but lots of other things as well. Okay. And let me get rid of this one. Again, this was no, not that one. That's my other user, Bob. I was trying to come here, make sure I had gotten rid of this guy. Okay. So that's the main difference, work grounded versus web grounded. The other thing, and this, I was talking to someone about this earlier this week. Even right here, you can see another difference that is pretty cool. If I go to Gene, you see, so you'll always see these boxes, and what they are essentially just recommended starter points, they're random to some degree, to just give you an idea of what, if you're sitting here with a blank screen wondering what do I do with this, these might be things to help you get started. For instance, this one here, it says create a table that compares top selling Office printers, and then when I click that, it actually puts that into the prompt area for me. That might not be something I'm interested in, but it does, if I am unsure how to use this, it does give me an idea of how this might work. So you see, it has gone to the web. This is web grounded chat, and has gotten some information about these printers, put them in a table. And so if you're brand new to Copilot chat, use those buttons, click them as much as you want to get a feel for, you might not have realized you could ask for something and get it in table format and get it in 20 seconds with, references to all the websites that it used for that information. That might not have been something that you didn't know how it worked. So that's why those are useful. And you can see here at the bottom, it's giving me additional things I could ask as I continue with my conversation about these printers. So those could be, useful ways to work in Copilot chat, right? So if I come back, use that button at the top to start up a new chat. But one thing you'll notice that's a little different about these. So take a little peek there versus when I go back to this one. Let me zoom in. So some of the recommended bubbles on my fully licensed experience is something like this: prep for that meeting. This would not be on the Copilot, the unlicensed Copilot chat experience. And the reason is because that experience, being web grounded, has no idea about the meetings I'm in, doesn't know about my work. The licensed version does. Not only does it know, you can see that it is actually referencing a particular meeting in the prompt. Same with this one here: stay informed. What's the latest from, in this case, this is a user in the organization. Copilot chat, but web grounded, it's not going to know about the people in my org. The licensed version does. Okay. And so if I were to type this in, actually, help me prepare for, you can kind of see it's already given me the hint on how this works. This slash lets me make references to things that Copilot knows about in my org. This add content button does the same thing, but I do like the slash. It's very convenient. So when I hit slash, you can see that it is giving me lots of things that I can reference. In this case, there's a meeting, and it's showing me all the meetings it knows of, not all of them, probably most recent or most relevant. And I can go here. It can show me people that it knows about, meetings, files. These are files in my OneDrive, files in SharePoint, things like that. Emails are listed here as well. So these are all things that I can easily reference. And so I'll go ahead and do what that one initially suggested, which is a meeting. I could either start typing it out, or I could, click it there the same way they did. And now I'm going to get some preparation for that. And you can see it exactly knows all the details. It has full access to my Outlook calendar and everything. And it's given me all the details I need to know about that. A nice summary helping me to prepare. Related emails, again, full access to my inbox. So any related emails about that, any files related to that meeting, Teams messages. So it's going everywhere. Again, it's going nowhere that I don't already have access to. Okay. I don't have any elevated ability to see things because of Copilot. It only sees what I can see. Okay. But I can see a lot related to my stuff, right? So emails, files, Teams messages, all of that. And so that one-click button off of that meeting gives me this nice page where, if I was preparing for this, what is this project collaboration sync meeting, I've got a nice little prep page for that, which I could do a couple things with one click. I could click edit in pages. All that stuff gets copied and pasted over into a loop page for me, which I could use on my own or share with others. I could also just use the copy button. I actually like to use that a lot because I'll go into OneNote as my place to store my notes for that meeting. And then, of course, now that all of those notes are able to be pasted into OneNote, in addition to whatever notes I take once I actually get into the meeting. So that's pretty useful to me. Copilot preps me, and I can use that prep and throw that into to another, note-taking source. Okay, but what I'm really talking about here is this ability to reference things. And in fact, I referenced a meeting there, but what you most likely might reference is files, right? because you might want to, upload, let's say, this Contoso suppliers document and then tell it to summarize this, or or something like that. Now that can also, so because of my license, I get that very easily. If I didn't have a license, like Gene here, I'm not going to get that premium experience. I do, though, still have my handy dandy paperclip to upload a file. So again, this Copilot chat web grounded doesn't know about the files in my org. So I'll have to manually give it a file if I want to do something file related. And so that's when I would hit the file button and, and then start navigating somewhere to go find a file and upload it in there. And then I can do the same thing as before, ask it for summaries and things like that. So I did want to call that out. Not quite as convenient, but still, super useful. Now, so from that perspective, you might think, well, cool, I get a nice, easy way to click and get that file in the license experience, but I'm okay with manually uploading. Maybe I'll just do that all the time. And that could work for you. The one scenario I will call out, though, is on the premium, license side, I could say, maybe summarize, a document X and put that document there, but maybe I don't know what document actually I need or where it is. I could do a prompt that basically asks for something about a document of that type, wherever it may be, and let Copilot kind of search for me and find it. Okay. So that's me leveraging the fact that Copilot can traverse the whole org and see the documents. That's a little more helpful and kind of really impossible to do with the Copilot chat, to just kind of have Copilot go find the document that I'm actually looking for and then do the summary or whatever it is that I need. So, that's what we're doing when we're starting to get more into using those reasoning and reading capabilities that Copilot has, and leveraging those so that we don't have to do as much work on our side. So yeah, keep that in mind. But I thought that this was helpful, because often, well, one, I might have, really enlightened you to the fact that this is even a possibility. And I should have pointed out, you can get here if you think you're an unlicensed user, like at work or whatnot. You might be seeing the Copilot tab over on the side as you're using your M365 portal. If you don't see it pinned anywhere, just going to m365.cloud.microsoft should take you there. Actually, it'll take you directly there if you add the /chat. But at least the initial domain there. So that's the one that is assuming you're about to sign in with your work credentials, and we'll give you either Copilot chat that we're seeing here, web grounded, or if you're licensed, that same URL will get you into the one with the work web tab. Okay, so glad I remembered that. That's another key detail there. All right. So again, hopefully that was useful if you weren't sure what you had. And if you already knew you weren't licensed, you might be pleasantly surprised to have learned that you at least have Copilot chat, and you can get started on your AI journey. That's really what our vision is just AI for everyone. So you can get started on that journey, and then perhaps one day elevate to the full premium experience, for which we didn't even describe everything today. But that involves work-related stuff, because now at this point, you now have a private personal assistant that knows about, your Rolodex, if any of you are old enough to remember what those are. It knows, your stuff, your portfolio, your inbox, your meetings, and your chats, and all that good stuff. All right. So that's just a little bit about, what do I do if I'm licensed or not licensed? How do I know what I've got? All right. That was the wrong button there. Sorry about that. too many buttons clicking. So hope that was helpful. Again, thanks for joining. And again, please put in the comments whenever you do view this, whether or not you understood my little license to Copilot movie reference. I don't think I did it well. All right. So other than that, though, we'll see you next week. We'll talk a little more, geek out on Microsoft Copilot best practices. All right. So have a great Thursday and a great weekend. We'll see you later.